Well, as you've just been hearing there, the Foreign Secretary will today meet with G7 leaders. This is happening in Brussels. She's pushing for a hard deadline on ending the West's reliance on Russian oil.
Yeah, this comes as the US and the UK agree to send more weapons and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, with UK military chiefs saying the next 3 weeks will be critical.
Well, former head of counter-terrorism at the Ministry of Defence, Major General Chip Chapman, joins us now. Major, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eamon.
Yeah, right. So, Russia and this situation in Brussels today, what do you think can be achieved?
Well, on the 10th and 11th of March, there was a thing called the Versailles Declaration, which already said that the EU has agreed to phase out the dependency on Russian oil, gas and coal as soon as possible. But it's, of course, what as soon as possible means from a EU perspective. And at the moment, there's a mutual dependency. So the EU gets 43% of its gas, which is the big consumer, not really oil and gas, from Russia. But there's a mutual dependency where Russia exports 73% of its gas to the EU. And you have a real tension here because some of that gas actually goes across Ukraine. And so transit fees for gas are actually being paid to the Ukraine at the moment. There's 3 major pipelines, Blue Stream, Turk Stream and Nord Stream. So I think the easy, quick win is phasing out oil and coal imports from Russia. It is not so simple to get rid of the gas. And one of the conundrums we have here is that John McCain, the former senator and presidential candidate in America, once said that Russia is no more than a gas station masquerading as a country. And if you actually get rid of that, and Russia can't find alternative markets, India or China, then you have a country which could implode in the future. And one of the last things you want in a geostrategic sense is a Russia which is imploding, a sort of Bosnia from the 90s with nukes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, God, that sounds horrendous. What do you make of these reports in the papers this morning? I think the Times have got the story that Britain is gearing up to send some more military vehicles to support Ukraine because the next 3 weeks could be critical. And Zelensky coming out overnight and saying if we don't get the arms that we need, Putin's going to interpret this as permission to go back on the attack.
Well, I think Putin will still be on the attack, but he's done what a good strategist would do at the moment. So he's taken really bits of the 20th century strategist Little Heart. So he's adjusting at the moment his end to his means. They know that they've failed in the 2 attacks in the central region and the western region, Kyiv and Kharkov and around there, and are therefore adjusting that to the area of the Donbass, which Putin could say was his original attack strategy, i.e. was going in there to liberate the Russian speakers in Luhansk and Donetsk. Now, that is not true because he wanted to knock over the political polity, take Kiev in day 3 and all that sort of stuff. But from a political perspective, he has done that for a good reason. So he's failed in his grand strategic objectives. He's failed in his original strategic objectives. He might not fail if he scales that down to what he originally said about going in as a peacekeeping operation. It's nonsense. Invited in, nonsense. And also because of genocide, also nonsense, as said by the International Court of Justice. I don't think the next 3 weeks are crucial, but what is crucial is the continuance of weapons to the Ukrainians, particularly the defensive weapons initially, that's the air defense weapons, American Stingers, Javelins, things like that, and also potentially offensive weapons, because there's no way that the Ukrainians can go ultimately on the offensive in the Donbass region without armoured support. And that's this notion that you would bring sort of T-64s, T-72s, old Russian or Soviet type equipment in from the former Eastern countries. There is no point providing large armoured forces or equipment from Western forces because it's not a capability unless you train on it and know how to do it. And Ukrainians might not have the time to do that.
Worrying times. OK, Major General Chip Chapman, always good to get your thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.